Yeah. So I just got let go from a contract that I had with the National Post after lawyers for Peter Mansbridge sent a cease and desist letter to myself and to the National Post as well. I understand why they let me go, and it's becoming increasingly clear that it is really close to impossible to talk about this story in a meaningful way. So what I'm going to do here is try my best to talk about what the rumors are and try to stay, try to make sure that I don't get sued. I just want to say off the top that I have not heard anybody say that Peter Mansbridge assaulted them. I have not heard anyone say that Peter Mansbridge even harassed them. But what I have heard is that Peter Mansbridge had several consensual sexual relationships with women that he worked with, mostly women of color, and that when those relationships were over, they stopped working together. Now, this could mean that they were either promoted or that they were transferred. Some of that isn't very clear. The main thrust of this story, however, is not about Peter Mansbridge having sexual relationships with people at work. The main story is that several of these women were paid hush money. They were paid to not talk about their relationships, which is why I'm not mentioning any of the names of the women, and I do know a few of them. I don't know them personally, but I know their names. And some are saying, and this is a rumor, that it totals over $1 million that was paid. But the point is, it was paid with taxpayer money. And we are not being told about this, obviously, because it is embarrassing for the network and embarrassing for Peter Mansbridge. Now, additionally, and this is hard to prove, but again, let's just protect everyone, including myself, and say that there is reason to believe, although not quite confirmed, but it looks very much like the CBC is trying to conduct an exercise of damage control after they found out that the Star and the Globe had been investigating the story for quite some time. And furthermore, it looks like it's possible that the CBC is working in conjunction with either the Star or the Globe, or both, to sort of puppeteer how this story breaks. There are many people that are telling me that Gillian Finley is going around talking to these women. There are a lot of people saying that Navigator, which is a crisis management firm, is reminding these women that they have signed NDAs. And I think what we really need to do, and I'm putting myself on the line just by talking about this, is examine why we are allowing our public broadcaster to use public money, because they're funded by taxpayers, to shield their flagship anchor person and themselves from potential embarrassment by paying women off to not be talking to the media, pay like hush money, basically. Why are we paying for that? Why is it okay? I think it's fine that Peter Mansbridge can have consensual relationships with whoever he wants. That's great. That's not really the problem. It happens to be the first domino in this story, but it's not the real problem. The real problem is that our tax dollars are being paid to shield the national broadcaster from embarrassment. In a post-Ghomeshi world, honestly. Now, I'm going to say this again. I don't have the documents. I was close to getting to where I needed to be on this story, but lawyers and crisis management firms seem to have beat everyone to the punch and are doing a good job protecting the public broadcaster from having to take responsibility for paying women to not talk and to sign non-disclosure agreements. I don't know how any of this is legal. I don't know how you can use taxpayer money to pay hush money. I don't know why it's possible to make people sign non-disclosure agreements in this context. And hey, you know what? I like Peter Mansbridge. I thought he was a good anchor. I'm not a real big fan of the National right now, but someone had to say it. This is, by the way, an open secret. This people have known about this for years. This is not something that will come to a surprise to anybody working in the investigative units at the Toronto Star or the Globe and Mail. It will definitely not come to a surprise to people at the CBC, the upper brass, including Jennifer Maguire. And if they come after me, I'm not even allowed to tell them to go find the non-disclosure agreements that they know they had these women sign, and I'm not allowed to bring up the money that was paid to these women, even though it exists, because I guess protecting the national broadcaster from embarrassment is more important than unveiling the truth. So wish me luck, and contact your local paper and ask them about it, or contact the CBC. Thank you.